It's an amazing project. I mean, the first net zero public housing ever built, actually first net zero housing ever built in the United States. And you're looking at something that has never been done and that people had thought could never be done. And we did it right here in El Paso.
It is cutting edge, it sets the standard, it moves the bar really high. It's a bar that's attainable, obviously. It's a bar that we would hope that more and more both public housing and other affordable housing developers and housing authorities would undertake to make sure that the housing is available for generations to come, and that is an effective and efficient use of taxpayer dollars to make sure that the citizens of America are served well in their affordable housing needs.
This project truly is unique. It is the first affordable housing project anywhere that runs only on clean, renewable energy generated on site. This project is also the first of its kind to burn no fossil fuels. The only sources of power here are the abundant sun and the wind.
Figuring out the technology that would work with the amount of sun that we could harvest. And so that was like trying to find ways to heat the water without using copious amounts of electricity. It was those type of technologies and figuring out passive ways to keep it cool so the energy could be used other places. That was what was difficult. Obviously the money was always very difficult. To come up with something that is 3 times the cost of a normal unit is hard. But in the end, we're going to learn a lot from this. And as we build more in the future, be much more efficient.
As the architects have described the placement, you could only do this design this way in El Paso because of the sun, because of the wind currents, and the cooperation between the housing authority and the city government here in El Paso. Wind turbines are not part of the code, and they had to change the ordinance to make sure that they could use the wind as backup in this system. Having all those things come together in this place is a standard to which we should all think that we could construct, whether it's affordable housing, and surely if you can do it as an affordable housing deal, you can do it anywhere in any other kind of housing deal. I think that's the underlying message that I'd like to underscore for people.
We were able to work together in partnership and overcome every single obstacle, and today we celebrate the accomplishment of so many people that refused to be turned away and received $8.25 million to make this dream a reality.
The future residents of this housing project, this is really your day. We call it Earth Day, but Earth is nothing without the people that live on it. So today is a great day for the residents of public housing.
It is why we all do this work. It is the commitment of the Obama administration and Secretary Sean Donovan at HUD and all of us that the housing which we invest in is housing that citizens in this country deserve. It is not just housing because they're poor, it's housing that anybody would want to live in, and people deserve to have that kind of a place to call home.
On a count of 3, let's get the show on the road. 1, 2, 3.
Across the country, people that are in the business of affordable housing, to those people, everyone here at HACEP is a rock star. What you guys are doing here, people are just completely blown away by it. And it's not so much the architecture that people are amazed by, it's the program that you've advanced. It's the desire to do something that innovative and that far out on the leading edge. People are just amazed by that. We were very interested in being a part of the competition that was initially the impetus for the project. Mr. Cichon and his team at HACEP putting together the design competition to try and draw together or draw out of professionals from across the country some of the best ideas they could. We found that so compelling. Architects love clients that are willing to take chances, explore the unknown, and reach for the stars. And it was very clear that HACEP was that type of client. It was just something that really captured our imagination and allowed us to really go as far as we could, and we really appreciated that opportunity. Some of the sustainability features that have been built in, things like the ERVs, the energy recovery ventilators that help filter the air so that there's really excellent indoor air quality here. All of the very careful selection of products that don't off-gas or put any, don't affect the indoor air quality.
The whole project being green, I mean, from the landscape design to the interior paint finishes to the flooring, the recycled content of all the products that went into this project is over the top green of what you would ever see traditionally. We hope it to become the standard because the products, the quality of indoor air quality for the tenants that are renting here far surpasses most places, nearly hospitals. Hospitals are constructed to provide good indoor air quality. That's how these things are designed, with the HRV unit giving fresh air all the time, constant air changes, conditioning that air as it comes in. The products don't off-gas. You don't have the negative vinyl products or any of that type of thing that off-gas. So everything that was selected was done with the true green intentions of the project and high recycled content.
A lot of attention paid to light and thermal comfort in the units so that during the summer the residents are cool and comfortable, but also during the winter when seniors typically have more thermal issues because as their circulation systems start to diminish as they age, we oftentimes find that seniors are much more sensitive to cold than to heat. And so even though we're in El Paso, we paid a lot of attention to sunlight in units that would allow for passive heating, that radiant energy inside the unit so that people are comfortable here year-round. Just lots of things like that we've tried to think through the lives of the people that will be here and how the architecture can be supportive of them.
We held it to ourselves to a very high standard, and we really beat the inspector up to have him hold us to those same level of high standards, so that there would be no doubt that we'd meet the net zero at the end. You know, I looked at it more as a very green site, not necessarily just the net zero. The net zero is all energy that is consumed on site or through a 24-hour period is produced on site. So we have the wind turbines, two wind turbines that produce the power here on site when we have those gusty days, and we have a tremendous amount of solar, and that solar is fed back into the grid system, and in the evenings we feed off the grid, but we're putting more of an excess power into the grid versus what we're consuming on site. So this project should be able to, at the end of the day, produce more power than it utilizes on a daily basis. In any given day, there was 250 people on site. One person on one building could make an error, and it affects so many others. And so it really required strong oversight and management of each stage of construction as you assembled it, and any one piece left unattended, which is really what we found out, caused so much additional backtrack, so much additional work to go back and correct, that by the time we got to the second building and the third building, it was really clear to us how it had to be constructed, the sequential order, and the parts and pieces needed to go in a very specific way. Any one out of sequence was it just was 2 steps forward, 3 steps back.
The buildings we design will become people's homes, and a project is not successful if it doesn't become a good place for someone to live. We oftentimes tell people that our goal in a project is that when someone wakes up in the morning in their new home, that they come out into the kitchen and say, I don't want to leave. I love being here. HACEP is making a really significant investment here, and it's an investment in the future. It's not just an investment in the lives of the people who will be here for the next 5 years or 10 years, but it's an investment in the lives of the people who will be here for the next 50 or 100 years. So what HACEP is doing here is really, as we've said in other instances, trying to change the paradigm. This is not about building affordable housing as inexpensively as possible. This is about building affordable housing and making a wise investment of your dollars today so that you generate a large return over the next several decades. We really have enjoyed the opportunity to create these spaces that will help shape people's lives. And for us, that's a wonderful sense of accomplishment and sense of doing something of value for society.